Hello. Today I'm just going to go through a few more books. I did the book review on the last video and I did some cookbooks, and today I'm going to do some self-sufficiency slash other bits and pieces books too, so 3 books that I can highly recommend. Now the first book is this one. It's I took the cover off, you know those slip covers you get, and yeah, I didn't like it. So let me get to the front, I'll show you, I'm just joking. This is the new complete book of self-sufficiency by John Seymour. You can see a bit inside there. The cover is pretty much similar to this kind of thing, like screen print type thing. It goes through, there's the index, Now, this has to be the most concise self-sufficiency book you'll ever find. Like, he covers pretty much everything in there. Everything from, so let's say here, working in stone and working in metal, to food from goats, to managing waste and saving energy, to growing maize and barley, and it's just got everything. Like, you could write a book, every one of these subjects you could probably write the same kind of thickness book on. So he's covered them pretty basically in each one, but you know, fairly concisely too. So there's a fair amount about everything in here. So if you want to know about everything from making your own, you know, beer to growing different fruits and vegetables, it's all in here. So if you kind of think that you're getting into self-sufficiency a bit, the bugs biting a little bit, this is such a good book. He's got a lot of good books. Originally he had a book coming out called The Fat of the Land, and then the complete book of self-sufficiency came out, and then it was redone as the new complete book of self-sufficiency. And he's got a few other books too, but I'll try and go over those in the next few weeks. All the illustrations are just nice watercolour illustrations. So there is no photos in it. They're all illustrations. But it's just awesome. Like, he just goes from this one. This is a good example. He'll actually go as far as maintaining the garden and placing everything, from stuff like from an allotment. So if you live in a city and you can only get a little allotment somewhere, you could go use some of the ideas he's got there, to 1 acre, and then to 5, and then on from there. But it's a really good book. It's pretty cheap too, so you can usually pick up a second-hand one in a lot of bookstores sometimes. But I definitely recommend buying it. If you're getting into self-sufficiency or have any kind of little inkling of interest into it, get this book. I know I haven't got the cover. I hate those slip cover things, having to deal with them all the time. I just chuck them out. But this is the new complete book of self-sufficiency by John Seymour. Alright, next I've got something a little bit closer to home. Now this is an Australian publication, Grassroots, been going on for years and years and years, ever since I can remember. I remember the covers used to be these old sepia kind of print, black and white photo covers, and now they're colour and everything, but it's still, you know, the same kind of black and white printed magazine. This is a self-sufficiency magazine made in Australia. The people who do it are actually in Seymour, which is a northern suburb in Victoria, and it comes out on every 2 months. So this is the February-March episode publication, and then the next one will come out obviously in April, for April-May. So it's pretty much consists of, seems to be a certain amount of group of writers who write all the main bits and pieces, and a lot of the stuff that's in there is contributed by people, like different stories on all kinds of things. So it's really, really good. Like, I know you might not be able to get it overseas, but there's a few self-sufficiency magazines you can get in Australia, but this one, to me, is by far the best. And I'm not saying that because they've printed publication, you know, stories of mine in the past, but it really is good. Like, it'll just cover everything. If you have any questions, you can write to them. Everything's been covered in some kind of way in one of these books. So if you have a question about delivering kids for a goat and you're not sure, you can write to them, and I'm sure there'll be a story about it, and they'll say to you, check out Grassroots edition 154, and you can get a back copy and look at them. So Really, really good. You can get subscriptions for this too, so I'll mail it out to you. And it's only, what, $6? $5.95, yeah. There you go. Every 2 months. And it's printed on plantation grown paper, which is good too. But really, really good. And it says on the front, Australia's most popular self-sufficiency magazine. I get it every time it comes out. It's a really, really good read. So if you're in Australia and you can get the newsagents, just have a look in the newsagents, check it out, Grassroots. Or if you're overseas, I don't think they have a website for some reason. I think they should have a website so people can look it up and what have you. If you're overseas, I don't know how you'll go getting it, because I'm pretty sure it's just syndicated in Australia, distributed in Australia. So you can always look it up. Google it. They might have some kind of details on there. As far as I'm aware, they don't have a website, but you might find some details and just email them, and they might be able to start, hopefully start sending it overseas. Who knows? But really good. Highly recommend it. If you want to get into self-sufficiency, all kinds of bits and pieces, get this. Alright, now the last one I've got, that was a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's a bit of a laugh. This is Out the Back by Scott Cam. Anyone that lives in Australia will know this bloke. He's on different garden and garden improvement, home improvement shows, DIY shows. He's kind of like the, how can I put it, kind of the TV caricature of the Aussie bloke, goes around, drinks beer, does this, does that, has a laugh, wears his shorts and his flannels and da-da-da-da. Seems like a nice guy. I've never met him, but he always comes across as a nice guy on TV. Someone bought me this for Christmas, and it's really good. It's really simple. You can see the writing in it. It's all just handwritten. You're not going to get Shakespeare or anything like that by getting it, or anything in great depth. But it's really good. There's a lot of little things in there that are great for people who want to do some stuff at home, like building a pergola, building retaining walls, even bits and pieces about Barbies and all that kind of stuff, and building a chuffer. I won't explain what a chuffer is. That's in there. Have a look. You'll suss it out. But it's kind of blokey. It's just got bits and pieces in there, how to do this and how to do that and all that kind of stuff. And it's got good pictures, and it's just basically from his point of view. He tells a few stories in there that are funny and stuff like that. I think he's got a couple of other ones out too, but I'm not really sure, so I haven't really looked it up. Someone gave me this and I read it. It was a good book. So that's by Scott Cam. It's called Out the Back. So if you're kind of just fiddling around with doing a few things here and there at home, and you like a bit of a laugh, and it's a good book. Alright, so there's the books I had today. So Out the Back by Scott Cam. Not really a book, but magazine, Grassroots. I really, really, really recommend this. I read it cover to cover every time it comes out. It's such a great read. And the new complete book of Self-Sufficiency by John Seymour. I think John Seymour, I'm not sure if he's still alive. I'm not sure, I'll have to check. I don't know about that. I'll read up on it, because I haven't really looked anything up on the internet about him much as far as he goes. But I know he used to do like DIY kind of workshop things. You could go there and learn about self-sufficiency and stuff. He was in, I don't know if he was in England or in Ireland or somewhere, but I'll find out. I'll have a look. But yeah, really, really good book. Really just goes into heaps of detail about things, from planting things to fencing to all kinds of stuff. So I really recommend that too. All right, I'm going to do a couple more book reviews as well. There's heaps of stuff. A lot of people write to me and ask for recommended reading and things like that. And I want to find out about this and what's good for this. Sometimes you can just Google things or whatever and look it up on the net, or even on YouTube. Someone's got a bloody video about everything on there, so you can look stuff up on there, of course, and have a look. But I like to read. I'm a pretty good reader. I read every day pretty much, so I like a good book. So stuff like that's really good. But if you want to find out about any other books or authors or any kind of different themes that you want to know about, I'm sure I've got a book about it somewhere at home in the library, so just give me a yell and I'll have a look for you, and I'll try and do a book review on something, or whatever subject you want to kind of hit on. Cool. Happy St. Pat's. Alright, see you soon.